Eden all, welcome to Kicking Dust. Right, today we have for you a tank swarm. This is 3 tankers on our team, that's me, Delboy and Evo. This is another 3 tankers, and neither of us are giving up. So we were running the map, everything was going quite well. I came around a corner as you see right about now, and oh look, a Madruga, 2 Madrugas, aha, third one reported. So at this point I realise I'm in trouble, so I try and save my sorry worthless hide, and I retreat, and I end up in a building somewhere. Like a police car that's just gone completely nuts, I end up in the middle of a building with a woman looking at me with a cup of tea and a knitting going, what the hell are you doing? I end up losing my first tank. So this is not a cheap round, but it is a fun round. This was the most rage-filled, fun, aggressive, testosterone producing match I've played in a while. So I admit I was raging at this, but the thing is, it was to keep the team going. We had to win. We couldn't obviously let them dominate us. And it was 3 guys in 3 Madrugas, very well fit, all blasters, I believe. And they were doing a great job of doing what we do, which is dominating the map with our tank swarm. So we decided to ambush them. So here we go. Now, to be honest, the first few attempts are pretty bad, but hopefully you're seeing this is what tanking is becoming. It is a fun, exciting, risk-filled venture that is actually really quite fun. And I think, too many people are really not liking the change of Dust no longer just being about infantry. I think that's a shame. And hopefully you'll agree that, yes, tanking speed possibly needs a bit of a nerf, but tanks aren't OP. They're just, they're machines. They're supposed to be powerful, but quite frankly, you'll see me lose them too easily all this round. But here we go. Look at our Madruga buddies. They are absolutely dominating us. Now, my railgun is pretty... it's just crap. I'm no good with it. I don't know what I'm doing so wrong here, because that should have killed him, shouldn't it? That was a hugely powerful round, and I get mobbed and I die. Boom, but I took it with me. But it's one of these... Oh, no, I didn't. Damn. Right, well, there we go. So here we go, round 3, and this is then with pure vengeance in mind. And we do a bit of a run round because at this point we're not entirely sure what's going on in terms of where they are and where they've got to. And I did change back from a railgun to basically just get the benefit of a blaster. I seem to be better with the blaster than any other thing. And Evo's there running a very nice railgun militia tank, and it's actually quite good. And Delboy is circling around, obviously running a bit of a diversion. So, the squad is forming, the swarm is producing, and we're pretty much getting ready to get into position. Now, again, it's a funny thing, really. I know tanks seem to be, forming a lot of very negative opinion lately, and I think, to be honest, it's not really being counterweighted, if you like, by the fact that a lot of people are loving tanks now. You see more tanks now than ever have been. And yes, there are some good pilots. Yes, there are bad pilots. And I'm a bad pilot. But what I would say is that, never have I had so much fun in Dust. Infantry game is good, but it gets a bit boring. I think people are really kind of, negative to the whole tank game. But, tanking should be changed, if you like, so that tanks go after tanks. And I have to say, we're almost there already. So, tanks aren't terribly good against infantry. Maybe a solution would be to reduce the blaster's damage on troops. I wouldn't mind that, because I don't really come into the battles now looking for troops. As you notice, I actually run, I don't actually target troops anymore, because my primary focus is finding tanks. I like the tank v tank. TVT is the best part of this game at the moment, and only because it feels very Eve-like. Plus, it's forcing gangs to group up. So here we go. Look, they're coming right at us. This group of tankers. Really, I just love these guys. I want to literally give them ISK, because I love the fact they just kept coming. And as you can see, we were losing tanks. They were losing tanks, and it was turning into a hell of a battle. And I think it just was glorious. It really was. I'm not the best tanker, I fully admit that, and I still make stupid mistakes, as you can see here. Oh, so close. But while I was filled with rage at that point, the reality is I had a great big smile on my face. It was annoying as balls, but rarely has Dust ever made me give much of a shit. ISK is easy, so having all the ISK I've got, it's not actually a difficult thing to lose 20 prototype suits in a row. I feel completely ambivalent if I lose 20 assault prototype suits, because who cares? But when I lose a tank, that means something to me, because it's like it's more of a like Eve like battle, where your skill with the module, your skill with the movement and the control of the vehicle actually means winning or losing. And I think here you're now seeing a lovely tank column. They didn't realize that we were actually flanking them, and as you can see, they're on the bridge right there, all three Madrugas, and we completely stomped them right now. And it's all due to the fact that this was just an organized group of people, mostly militia and basic gear, I might add, and we were just absolutely in the right position. So hopefully you see that. Too often the game is reduced to whoever has the prototype suit with the core locust grenade and the Devol AR, and I think that's a shame. Tanking feels like almost the last bastion of this game's skill level. And I don't mean that in a trolly way. I just mean, you know, it's not easy tanking, and it's actually quite a kind of challenging endeavor. And I think too many people now, they know the game. They run, you know, look at Bear. He runs his same suit, same gun. He runs the same match every day, continually, over and over and over again. How that guy has not got bored, I don't know. But I get bored, and I think what you have to do within Dust, and even all the other games that, you know, pretty much out there, is you have to kind of reinvent the game for yourself. And I think 1.7 brought about tanks that were fun. Too many people are trying to get them nerfed and changed to go back to the infantry game that they remember, because they want the nice comfortable blanket of running their prototype Galante assault suit with a Devol and core locust grenade, because that's what too many people know wins. Having a tank in the field, having squads of tanks, fleets of tanks fighting each other, makes this game so much bigger than that tiny little lobby shooter of the infantry side. And I honestly believe that. Got very emotional there, but I do honestly think that to retreat away from what 1.7 has brought will do this game irreparable damage, because it's just too fun. I mean, yeah, tanks are annoying. Yes, AV's annoying, but no offense, but why should a single forge gunner have any ability to take out a tank? Unless they've spec'd into it, unless they've got the prototype gear, unless they've really spent the skill points, the time, the effort, and the position, the tactical knowledge of the elevated position to hit on the top of the tank, or the elevated, you know, sneak attack to hit behind the tank. All of these are possible within Dust now, and those are the people who kill tanks. And believe me, they still are killing tanks. I'm dying to forge guns from really good players, you know, who know what they're doing. I'm not dying to tanks, I'm not dying to swarms, I'm not dying to forge guns from people who have no idea what they're doing, and they're trying to kill me solo like they used to. Even pretty good players who probably ran, you know, the prototype AV grenades knew that they could kill any tank pretty much solo. That doesn't happen anymore, and I honestly think that's a good thing. Tanking cannot really go back. If it did go back, I think there'd be more of an outcry, and I think a general slide of the game as well, because too many times, and again I think this came out pretty much when Uprising was released, was the simple fact that Dust is a very one-dimensional game currently. And look at I mean, hopefully you've been watching this kind of series. I think this is my 4th tank video, all done on purpose to show you that the tanking system is actually fine now. Tanks aren't OP. They are. If people say they're OP, it's usually an uneducated decision that's been made for that. They're not OP at all. All right. 10 tanks in a row are OP, so it's a situational power. It's not a, you know, calling a tank in, right, match 1, let's sit back and drink tea. It doesn't work that way. Too many people just think that, oh, well, they've called in, like, you know, a tank, therefore they've won. And that's bullshit. If you want to deal with tanks, bring in your own tank. Get in a militia railgun tank, they're brilliant. If you want to literally come at a tanker, just go and get in a militia tank with a militia blaster turret. You'll do a huge amount of damage, trust me. Too many times I think people take the easy route just to say, well, I want my infantry game, and oh, I want to kill stuff with my forge gun. It's a team game, deal with it. There we go. I mean, I know I'm not making myself terribly popular with this point of view, but I've watched a few videos lately, I think, from some other YouTubers who just seem to be crying about tanking and, oh, it's not this, and oh, I want my glory days back when my heavy machine gun would do this, and oh, my forge gun would do that. And it's like, well, I sympathize with the change, don't get me wrong, because when Eve would change through the fucking 10 years I played it, everything changed, and it's annoying. It really is. And I think, but sometimes you have to have that little bit of, dare I say, harshness in a game. DayZ has proved this to me, you know, phenomenally over the last few days I've been playing that. A tough, harsh pretty evil game is more enjoyable than a very facilitated game. And I don't want CCP to make Dust a facilitated game. You know, where, oh, well, there you go. You little infantry militia trooper will look after you, so therefore tanks can't hit you anymore. Well, that's crap. Just make it so that it's more interesting. Just make it so that, you know, yeah, it's not fair, but at the end of the day, you have a chance. Being fair and having a chance, that's the difference. So there we go. Hell of a match. I think, you know, it really does go to show, hopefully, that people... Oh, and it was an FW, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. I hope people really understand that, you know, tanking, yes, it's powerful. Yes, it's good, but it's not overpowered. Tanking, as you saw there, is just a sublime, fun, exciting thing. And you saw I lost, what, 3 tanks there? 2 tanks? I mean, 3 tanks. I lost 3 tanks, but I loved every minute of it. And yes, I was pissed off and angry, but I was loving the thought that this was a swarm of tanks versus a swarm of tanks. And I honestly cannot stress to you that this game, you know, excels when you bring that feeling out. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. Again, I didn't mean to rant, and hopefully it wasn't coming across as a rant, but it does bother me that so few people really understand. You know, they're criticizing a gameplay method that they haven't even tried themselves. So give it a try. Go and get 4 mates, get in tanks, and go and swarm stuff, and you'll have a riot. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.